Salut l'équipe, nouvel entretien, aujourd'hui sur First Team, et aujourd'hui on a la chance de recevoir le CEO des Spurs, R.C. Buford. R.C., welcome to our studio, it's a real pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
It's great to have you, thank you for your time. So this week the Spurs organization are in town. How much you guys enjoy Paris?
Well, this has been a home for our team for a long time as we looked at players and now with Victor, with the global games, we were here last year, year and a half ago, we were here for the Olympics. Feels like I'm coming once a month, but it's a great environment. I think it's fun to see basketball becoming really important for the French community and for Paris. The way the fans came out for the Olympics was really emotional, and the gold medal game, I'm not sure that there's been many like it. So that was fun to see, and fun to see the fans come. And then during the global games last year, they were right back cheering for Victor. And we're honored to be a part of his life.
So Paris is like home right now for you, but did Victor give you some good advice on going out to Paris?
He's too young to have known Paris.
Maybe Tony.
Yeah, TP has told me some few places.
TP knows a lot of good addresses in Paris. Huh?
Boris probably knows the best places to eat.
Yeah, of course. What is the purpose of that trip?
The trip this year is just to come back. While we were here last year, we met our Jersey partner, Ledger, who have become great partners, a lot of alignment from values and also just from, personal security and crypto security. And we hope to be a good defensive team, and they're a good defensive team. And getting to know their people better, getting to know the fans better. This is, we're planning for a great relationship with Paris and with France for years to come, and we want to come back and share that.
For a long time, France and Spurs seems to have a strong relationship. How can you explain that?
I think it wasn't intentional just on France. I think it was more intentional in 1999 when 97 we get Tim Duncan. We already had David Robinson. We won our first championship in 1999, and we believed that we were going to be good for a while those guys were going to play together. And that being the case, we were going to draft at the end of the first round. And if we were drafting at the end of the first round and we were just watching American college players, we'd be drafting a player that 25 other teams would have passed on. And so we became intentional about, let's get in gyms where other people aren't and start looking for players differently than maybe the league was at the time. And it really fit the way Pop wanted to coach. He wanted the team build with a very internationally diverse group of people so that we could all learn together. And then over the course of time, when you have Tony and Boris and Nando and Jan Mahimi and many others.
Geoffrey Lauvergne.
Yeah, Geoffrey Lauvergne. But we drafted Livio. We never could get him healthy enough to get to the NBA. So French basketball, the national team, we were very involved and supported Vincent Collet and Claude Bergeau, and many coaches along the line we've had really good relationships with. So it's just been a part of our program.
About draft, 3 years ago, you picked Victor number 1. Since then, what were the steps you guys took to be in the position you are today?
Well, I think it started long before 2023. It really started in 2017-18. We were in a position to continue to be conference finalists, contenders, I think, with Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge and the player DeJounte Murray, Derek White, players that have won championships, been all-stars. And then Kawhi made a decision he didn't want to be in San Antonio anymore. And so at that point in time, we had to build the team differently and really start a rebuild. And over the course, probably starting in 2019, Brian Wright, our general manager, and our basketball front office team did a great job of really not losing who the Spurs are. We didn't want to develop losing habits, but we knew we had to build the team for the future differently than we had with the players that we had. So we traded DeMar DeRozan a year later, Derek White a year later, DeJounte a year later, Jakob Poeltl, and put ourselves in a position that we were, the hoop gods were great to us in the 2023 lottery. So.
And just after 3 years with Victor, now you're like a contender. What is the secret to build a guy around a guy like Victor?
Well, I think he makes it incredibly meaningful and powerful to be able to tell people, here's who you're going to come play with. And it's not just Victor as a player, it's Victor as a human. And the people and his family and the people that he has in his team are all incredibly supportive of Victor. They're all very purposeful. They have had a vision for Victor for his career for a long time, and it's a real honor to be a part of carrying out their vision. Players want to play with a guy like Victor, and we've been fortunate in the lottery too with Steph Castle as Rookie of the Year, so back-to-back Rookies of the Year. Dylan Harper has got a great future, and then the guys we brought in along with that, De'Aaron Fox, and it's been good to see the team come together this year. I don't know that any of us would have expected to be, in November of 2025 or in 2024 when Pop had his stroke, none of us would have expected to have a new coach and a very young team and the All-Star game this year be represented by 6 players or 5 players and the coaching staff. And so I think that's a real tribute to the culture that Pop and, Tim, Monty, Tony, they're always still in the gym today, and our guys get to see that and get to see the care they have for each other along with the standards that they set for each other. And I think that helps everybody raise their standards.
Do you think you can be a champion? You can have another championship this year?
I don't know how to predict this year. I'm not a fortune teller. I hope we play well, and I think our guys are learning how to win. Earlier in the year, we weren't winning games that we have been recently, but we've still got great competition in front of us and a lot to learn. Until you're in the playoffs, it's very difficult to skip that step. And so I think that's what we're focused on, is not skipping steps.
Makes sense. In your opinion, what's Victor's biggest accomplishment so far? He seems stronger this season.
Well, I think maybe his biggest accomplishment was leading France to the gold medal game in Paris as a 19, 20-year-old. That's, people don't understand the history that had to play through to get to that position. And then his approach, but when I saw him as a 15-year-old in Cholet, when I saw him as a 17-year-old, he was in Nanterre, but he was in the Paris gym. Every game, before the game, his approach was the same every time. It was very professional. It was very directed. He knew exactly what he wanted to do to get his body ready for the game, and he's continued to carry that forward even after he had the health scare, the risk that he faced last year, and the way he approached that from an entirely different mindset, to go to the Chalon Monastery and go through everything he went through over the summer, NASA. It's just such a unique approach for getting your body and your mind in the best position to be successful, and then to be able to translate that to your teammates.
Let's talk about the Spurs organization. Is seen as one of the best franchise across the 4 major American league. What's special about the Spurs DNA?
Well, again, I think the Hoop Gods have been incredibly gifted to us with David Robinson and Tim Duncan, and now Victor when we had won the first position. And along with that, the players that we had were really amazing people. And I think they developed relationships where they wanted to be successful, not only for themselves, but together. And they were never afraid to take the next step when we knew that something was missing. Mario Ellie still comes and scouts in our gym quite often. And lives in Houston, works for New Orleans, scouts in San Antonio quite a bit. But Mario came and really was a mindset change for the first champion in '99. And while he didn't have a role that was Tim Duncan or David Robinson, he changed the way our players approached just the physical toughness and the determination, the defensive determination to be in a position to win a championship. And then our guys carried that forward. And along the way, there were so many people that joined the club: Steve Kerr, Danny Ferry, Bruce Bowen, Michael Finley, Robert Ory, Brent Barry, and then Boris. Different times along the way, different people came in. It's great to see Tiago Splitter now. Tiago was a big part of our 13-14 NBA Finals teams. To see him come over here, win a championship with Paris, and now be coaching the Portland Trail Blazers. That was something I never imagined. I never dreamed that Tiago really wanted to do that, but he didn't skip steps. He took steps along the way, and now he's doing really well with Portland after being successful here. That kind of, and our guys love.
It makes you proud.
Makes you proud, but what even makes me more proud is when Boris or Tony or Manu or Patty Mills or Tiago are ever any place near each other, they're all together. Sean Marks, they're all together. They'll fly in to meet each other. They don't let time go without coming together. Boris finds himself on a boat someplace, they'll all be on a boat. You know, that makes it really memorable to me to know how much they loved being on the teams that we put together.
You've been working for the Spurs for a long, long time. Do you feel the way you work with the Spurs, it's unique in the NBA business compared to the other franchise?
I don't know how other franchises work, and I really can't judge them. We have so many former players, former front office, former coaches that are now either coaches or general managers other places, that I imagine those people translate some of the things together that we did while we were in San Antonio. So I can't imagine we're not trying to do similar stuff. But again, it's the players, it's the people like Victor, Steph Castle that come in. De'Aaron Fox coming in has told us how different things are in San Antonio versus where he was in Sacramento.
Let's talk about Tony Parker. Obviously, he's a Spurs legend. Did you know he wanted to be a coach?
I've heard that recently, yeah. As we've been talking about what was next for our franchise, as we looked at, Tony and I spent a lot of time together trying to help him understand, here's what it takes to be a coach, here's the time commitment. You know, as long as he's an investor, a leader of Asvel, he's not allowed to be an NBA coach, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him step into that role. You know, both his brothers have been in coaching, and I can see that be the next step for Tony.
Could he one day become a Spurs coach?
You know, I think there's a lot to be determined. We have a coach now. We have a general manager. My dream would be that those two guys are together for 30 years, like Pop and I were together for 30 years. And so I hope we have our coach and our general manager for the future.
What can you say about Miss Johnson? How hard it was to find the perfect coach after Popovich? Well,
I think we had many coaches over the last 10 years who could have stepped into that role. Ime Udoka was with us, James Borrego, Brett Brown, Mike Budenholzer, Will Hardy. There were many people that could have stepped into that role that were with us, but the longer Coach Pop stayed, they reached other opportunities. And I think at the time that we needed Mitch to step up, he stepped up in a big way. And it was incredibly emotional for, Mitch to step into a role and in a interim is the wrong word, but we didn't know whether Pop could come back at the time of the stroke. And so he had the year to share with the players and with us who he could be as a coach. And it was obvious at the time that we knew we needed to go forward that he was going to be the right next coach. And then to see him grow since, I think what makes him unique and similar to Pop is the way that he communicates differently to everyone in the team, in the coaching staff, in the front office. And he's has great perception about, okay, this is the way RC is. Here's how I need to communicate with him. This is the way Victor is. I need to communicate with him differently. And many times coaches just try to be one way with everyone. And I think that's what made Pop unique and different. And Mitch has proven that to be the case as well.
Last question. How is Pop doing?
He's incredibly disciplined. He's one of the more disciplined people that I've ever met in my life. And he comes into the gym 5 days a week, does his rehabilitation. He continues to get better. The most emotional part of his journey now, Tim has been in the gym with him every day. When Manu or Tony, Boris come in from out of town, they're there with him every day. And it's incredible to see the love and the respect that they have for each other. None of those guys have to be there. And Pop will be there whether they were there or not. But I think that shows to me that we have a different relationship and a different emotional connection amongst our organization, because I don't know that there's many teams where you'd see that.
Thank you, RC. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Have a good trip in Paris.